Hello again, fellow YouTubers. Solomon Pleasant back with deck profiles. God dang it, why can't I actually do intros right? Hello again, fellow YouTubers. Welcome back to Solomon Pleasant and Cardfight Vanguard related things. Ooh, special mats. I got back from regionals, got more stuff, so let's go right into it. So today I'm going to deck profile the deck that I took to regionals and got stomped with. I mean, won the entire tournament with. Whatever they have on the Vanguard pages is completely false, and I won every tournament. I am the world champion of Vanguard, and no possible statistic could tell me otherwise. Gear Chronicle, that's not even a clan! What are you all talking about? So, here is my deck, Spike Brothers. Woo! I'm starting to see why I may or may not have lost. So, yes, I ran this deck, titled it the Rise and Experience, because it's kind of a Rising Nova deck. It's Spike Brothers Strad deck, so getting right into it. We have Mecha Trainer right here as your starter. As we all know, Mecha Trainer is a Forerunner, 5k, rare, with the Act ability of on rearguard. You Counterblast 1, and you retire him. You search for a deck for a grade 1 or less Spike Brothers unit, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. Conroe, but not banned. Pretty good starter. I know there are some other starters, but I just found Mecha Trainer the most consistent given how this deck works. So, trigger-wise, to draw of Cheer Girl Pauline, because it's adorable. It's adorable. 2, Devil Watch. Now, Devil Watch is a common from the newer set that has the charge ability, which is the new concept for Spike Brothers, which is when it's placed on rearguard by an effect, you may have it become charging, and if you do, you put it at the bottom of your deck at the end of the battle. So that's nifty. And it has the Gen Break 1 ability of when this unit attacks or boosts, if the unit is charging, you unflip 1 damage, you soul charge 1, and this unit gets +3 until the end of the battle. Really good tech card to have. Definitely run minimum of 2, maximum of 4. I only ran 2 because I wanted more crits in the deck, and I did want some draw power, but really good tech card to have. Really good to run 2 of at least. Ran 4. 8 crit, 4 Silence Joker, 4 Liar Lips. Liar Lips' ability is, and this has become standard for most clans in general, from rearguard, you put her into the soul, and when your Vanguard attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Rising in its name, which is which is either your grade 3 Heart or your actual grade 4 Vanguard, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you draw a card and then choose one of your Vanguards and give it plus 5,000 power. So, 5. So basically, this is a unit that you call to rearguard, boost with, and then when your Vanguard attacks, put it in the soul, give the Vanguard plus 5, and you get a card out of it. So this is a thing that a lot of meta decks run. Like if there's a deck, it probably has this double rare crit trigger. And as we all know, what Silence Joker does, he is an act from rearguard. You put him into the soul, and if you have a Spike Brothers Vanguard, you choose up to 1 card from your damage zone. Unflip it. I didn't use them that much, but it's always nice to have that option. It really is a lot better to have that option. And of course, 4 heals of Magical Manager, which is a better heal than the other Spike Brother heal we don't talk about. Anywho, on to grade 1s. Run 4 Kissmark Elite Alma, and she has the ability that a lot of P-guards nowadays have, which is basically you prevent the attack, and if there's another copy of her in the drop zone, you get to unflip a damage, or countercharge as it's called. That's what a lot of P-guards do nowadays, unless they're rare or below. Your double rare P-guards are essentially going to have this basic ability, but Your rare P guards are going to have the interesting ones, which I don't have one in this deck, but whatevs. 2 Mood Maker Neon Rook. Weird name. He also has the charge ability, and the continuous from rearguard Gen Break 1 ability of when this unit is charging, this unit gets plus 4,000 power, and the auto ability of when this unit is put into the deck from rearguard, choose one of your other rearguards and give plus 4 until the end of the turn. This is a nice thing to call out just to give a little bit of an extra push and then give something else a little bit of an extra push. I run 3 Frog Raiders. Now, Frog Raider is an interesting rare because he has the Gen Break 1 ability of when a unit with charging is placed on rearguard in the same column as this unit due to an effect from one of your cards, if you have a Vanguard with Rising in its name, you can stand this unit. Essentially what Frog Raider does is you have him on rearguard, you call something else out after he's already boosted, and he can basically stand back up and boost again, which is pretty useful. And then 4 of the Acrobat Verde, which is essentially your stride fodder. He has 2 abilities. The auto ability of when you place him on rearguard, you choose a grade 3, reveal it in your hand, search your deck for a grade 3 with Rising in its name, reveal it to your opponent, shuffle your deck, and then discard a card from hand. And the ability from your hand, when paying the stride cost, it costs plus 2. So essentially, these guys can become 3 drops. Every deck runs pretty much 4 of these things now, so can't really... Pretty standard. Pretty much the way Vanguard is run now is you get 4 P guards, you get 4 of the stride fodder, and then you make the rest up of your actual deck. And now, grade 2s. One's just coming back up. I run 3 Cobalt Impulse. Besides the charging ability, Cobalt Impulse has the Gen Break 1 ability of when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if this unit is charging, draw a card and then choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Great for sniping off units, which I think every deck could use a little bit of snipage because sniping's fun. Now, one of your big playmakers in this deck, I run 3 of Heave Wheeze, or as I like to say, Heavy Wheezin'. Wheezin'! Besides the charge ability, Wheeze has the ability of Gen Break 1, if this unit is charging, this unit gets plus 10,000 power. Juggernaut Maximum, but better. Because essentially, boom, charging, 19k swinger, by himself. No substitutes, just bam, 19k swinger. Really, definitely useful in the deck. I run 3 Axe Divers. Axe Diver has the charge ability and the Gen Break 1 ability of Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 when this unit is placed on rearguard. If you have a Vanguard with Rising in its name, you would pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other rearguards, bind it face up, and then call that card from the bind zone to an open rearguard. Then, if this unit is charging, the unit called with this effect gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. So essentially, this is one of your guys that's going to help get off your charge ability. Essentially, you call him out with you call out a unit, give it, and somehow give it charge. You then proceed to use that unit to call out. I cannot speak. Essentially, use your grade 3 Rising or basically any of your grade 3's abilities or any of your grade 4 abilities. Call out this guy, and say you have a Heavy Wheezing on the field, you can essentially Axe Diver and just say, hey, Heavy Wheezing now is charge. Because you can just play him and then call him back. Which is actually effective if he's already attacked as well, because you can call him back as stand. This is one of the big bread and butters of the deck, but it really is dependent on how you play him. Because you can play him without giving the unit an additional plus 5, but it is nice to give that plus 5, so it is better when Axe Diver is charging. And finally for grade 2s, 3 Wink Killer Misery. Misery's ability is a Gen Break 1, Counterblast 1, choose one card from your hand, put it in the soul, and when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this unit is boosted, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card not named Wink Killer Misery, call to open rearguard, shuffle your deck and give it +5. So essentially, you attack with this, you call out your Axe Diver, you either bounce her back or bounce someone that has charge back, and then you essentially replay, giving you another attack. Axe Diver is one of the big cogs in giving yourself an additional attack, which is, as we all know, what Spike is about. Attack repeatedly and rush as fast as possible. And finally, for the grade 3 lineup, we have 4 Hive Makers. Now, besides the charging ability, Hive Maker has 2 skills. His continuous skill on Rearguard is Gen Break 1. If this unit is charging, this unit gets the auto ability to Counterblast 1. When this unit is put into the deck from Rearguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 card from your hand and call to open Rearguard. When this guy's charging, you get out an Axe Diver. Hey, I get something else out to play. He also has the auto Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 when he's placed on Vanguard, which is look at the top 5 cards of your deck, search for 1 card with the charge ability among them, reveal them to your opponent, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. Essentially, this guy is here for stride fodder or for getting out your crazy combos. I use Hive Maker a lot, actually, to get out some of my combos, just because it's easier to get him off than to just get off Axe Diver right away. Now, I still run 1 Demonic Lord, Dudley Emperor. Why? Well, for one, I have a soft spot for Dudleys. I really do. I have a soft spot for the guy. He's always been a very reliable card. I've never actually used him, but it is nice to just have 1 Dudley in the deck, just in case I have to use one of my stride things. Now, he has the Limit Break 4 Counterblast 2. Choose 2 Spike Brothers from your hand, put them in the soul. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 2 Spike Brothers, call them separate rearguards, and shuffle your deck. Also, when he's boosted, he gets +3. So, it's very much a tech card. Honestly, you could run another Rising in replace, but I didn't want to get another Rising. I really wanted to have Dudley just in case, which when you see my stride deck, you'll understand. And finally, the ace of the deck, 3... How do I fully say your name? I never actually fully said your name. 3 Exceptional Expertise Rising Nova. This is basically your new head unit for Spikes, guys. So he has the Gen Break 2 ability of choose a card from your hand, put it in the soul. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card, call to open Rearguard, shuffle your deck. That's after your stride once, maybe get out a G Guardian, which I'll explain in a little bit. He also has the auto Vanguard ability of whenever you stride on top of him, your Vanguard gets the ability to Counterblast 1, choose a card from your hand, put it in the soul, and when the Vanguard attacks, you may pay the cost, and if you do, got this red lettering, search your deck for up to 1 card, call it to Rearguard, and give it +5,000 power until the end of the turn. So this is another way you can also start off your charging chain of events. Because essentially, call out a unit, oh hey, it has charging. Call out another unit, hey, it has charging. And then you just keep that cycle going and going until someone dies. And with that all being said, let's take a look at the Stride deck. So to start off, I run 1 Godly Speed, Flash Bruce, Flash! Nah, I'm not doing that joke. He has the auto Vanguard ability of choose a card from your hand, put it in the soul. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for a card, call it to Rearguard, give it +5 until the end of the turn. He's a good starter. He's a good starting unit for when it's your first stride and you can't use any of your other guys yet because they require either... They basically require having more G units up. I then run 3 Great Villainess the Hampire Lily. Now, I don't run 4 of her because I like Flash. I like having 1 Flash. It makes things interesting. She has the auto ability on Vanguard of when she hits, choose 1 card from your hand with the charge ability, call to Rearguard, give it +5, and the auto ability of when this unit is put back in the deck from Rearguard, draw a card. She is also very useful, so I either start with her or I start with Flash Bruce there. And that's kind of my starting point. Now, for the times that you do get stuck in Gridlock, and you have to G-assist, you can use two of these people, or you can use this guy, which is Great Warrior Dudley Geronimo. Now, I run two of him, A, because I have a Dudley, so I figure run him, because his ability is actually interesting. I've never gotten him off, but he is a fun, interesting card to have. He has the act ability of once per turn, I can counterblast one, choose a copy of him, turn it face up in the G-zone, and if I have a heart with Dudley in its name, until the end of the turn, this unit gets the auto ability of when a rearguard attacks, that unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the battle, and at the end of the battle, put that unit at the bottom of the deck. Then, if the number of face-up cards in your G-zone is 2 or more, until the end of the turn, this unit gets the continuous Vanguard ability of your rearguards can attack from the back row. That's why I run him, because more attacks and spikes is always a good thing. I've never gotten him off, but there will be a day where I get him off, and it will be very interesting. Now, allegedly, one of the aces in your deck, no pun intended, is the Shoot-Down King Miracle Ace, which you run 4 of. Now, he has an ability where you, again, once per turn, an act ability of Counterblast 1, choose a copy of him, turn him face up, and until the end of the turn, he gets the auto ability of when your rearguard is put into your deck, choose up to 1 card from your hand, choose one of your units, give it plus 5 until the end of the turn. It gets the Vanguard ability of Gen Break 3, Soul Blast 2. When one of your rearguards is put into your deck, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 card from your hand and call to open rearguard. Essentially, boost this guy up, and then every time something taps, Soul Blast 2, get another thing out, Soul Blast 2, get another thing out, and then you just... Oh, I dropped that. Good job, Brett. Good job. And you essentially just keep that chain going. This is your big ace in the deck. But your finishing unit, which I run 2 of, is Great Villain Dirty Pecro. I think that's how I'd say it. I have no idea how to say his last name right there. He has the Gen Break 3 ability of Counterblast 2, choose a face down card from your G-zone and turn it face up, and choose a card from your hand, put it in the soul. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card from your deck for each face-up unit in the G-zone, and call those cards searched to open rearguards and shuffle your deck. So since he has a Gen Break 3 ability, it essentially means if you have 3 face-up, you call 3 out. You can essentially call out your field with this. And he is a great finishing unit for when you want to get that final push, and you can essentially if you feel you're almost out of cards, you can use him in a pinch, and he will give you back your field that you've been missing most of the game. And finally, for G-Guardians, I run 4 Excellent Cheerleader, Ari. Ari? I don't know how to say that. She has the ability of, when this unit is placed in the G-zone, if you have 3 or less rearguards, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield until the end of the turn. So essentially, she becomes a 20k shield. So you drop a 10k, you get a 20k. That's not a bad payoff. It's really not. And also, turns a unit face up in your G-zone, which you kind of need for some of these guys. So, that's that. So, essentially, the way you play this deck is you start doing your rush around grade 2, where you call out grade 2 units, and then you proceed to just, do that stuff. Afterwards, when you get to your grade 3 Rising Nova and your first stride, usually stride Flash or Dampire Lily. You then get off as much of a combo as you can with that. And then you go right into Miracle Ace, which, considering his thing is a Gen Break 3, you definitely want to have G-Guarded at this point. This deck really does want you to G-Guard, otherwise you're going to be slower with your stride. However, Miracle Ace turns a copy of himself up, which also can meet that requirement, and phone. Thank you! And then after that, each turn, when you stride, you just keep going turn after turn after turn with as much of an assault as you can, which If your opponent can survive 1, 2, or 3 rounds of that, you're pretty much screwed because Spikes is a very heavy early game aggro deck. Overall, I got stomped, and I'm okay with that because I put a lot of effort into this deck and I really love this deck. This is a fun deck to play as. Once you can get all the kinks in figuring out what to call, where to call it, and how you can keep the attacks going. Really, the biggest struggle with this deck is, how do I keep my units charging to keep my attacks going and going and going and be like the Energizer Bunny? How do I do that? All in all, this has been Solomon Pleasant. This has been the Rising Experience! And I'm glad I'm doing these videos again. These are fun. Hopefully next one will also be fun. So, this has been Solomon Pleasant, signing off.